Have you ever seen a 1943 steel cent under the microscope? And have you looked up the value of a 1943 cent and how much all of them are worth, even the bronze examples, the copper examples? Well, we're going to do that in this video, so stay tuned. My name is Daniel, and you are watching Coin Help You. Here is my coin shop website, portsmouthcoinshop.com. If you want to support my little coin shop here in the small town, Portsmouth, Ohio, come over here and check out what we have to offer. We have a lot of different items up, auctions going on right now, no reserve on the auctions, and a lot of other coins for sale, and gold and bullion, 1/10 ounce, Canadian to American. So just to get started, let's take a look at this steel cent. There's something different about this steel cent, and the reason I'm showing it. This is what a replated steel cent looks like. When you have it under the microscope, you can see the corrosion on the edges. This was actually in a piece of cardboard, and you can see it's kind of reflective. It's kind of got a bluish tint to it. We can lower the lighting or increase the lighting first, and you can see what I'm talking about. The plating can pool up around the letters, around the mint mark, and cause it to look like it's doubled when it is not. This one looks like it has some strike doubling on it as well, but it's hard to tell. When something's replated, it doesn't really matter. The coin is considered damaged, and it is not extra value. We can lower the lighting on it, and I'll show you some more. This shows the corrosion around. I'm going to close. Let's see, it's focus in there a little bit better. You can see that the god is obliterated. You can see all that white. Zinc corrodes to zinc oxide, and it's a little white, flaky, powdery looking substance. And that's what this is. It's just kind of crystalline. That's what happens. When you see that on a coin or a little bit of rust here, it looks like, then you know it's steel. If you want to know if you have a steel cent or not, stick it to a magnet. If you think you have a bronze 1943, use a magnet. If it sticks to a magnet, then it is plated. You also weigh your coins. Anytime you think you have an off planchet, always weigh, because there are some very valuable 1943s and 44s on the wrong planchet that are worth some money. There's experimental planchets in 43 and in 44. There's bronze in 43 that are worth money. There are some silver, struck on a silver planchet in 43. Also 44, there's some steel and experimental. So you want to weigh them, use a magnet. Those are the two tests you have to use. If your cent sticks to a magnet, then you know it's steel. And you need to know the weights, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. Let's take a look at a normal steel cent under the microscope. Now this is a really nice, uncirculated Lincoln cent. As you can see, there's no blue tint to it. And what we're going to do, so we will look at this coin, the entire coin. I actually can fit this coin in the field of view. And you can see that it's a 1943D uncirculated steel cent. Now, they are plated in zinc. Have a little light coating of zinc over top of the steel so the steel doesn't rust immediately. It kind of protects it a little bit. And here's the reverse. So you know that this is not a plated example, and it will stick to a magnet. Now, one of the things about a steel cent, it sticks to a magnet, and I mean, you can't hardly pull it off. You have to almost just slide it off. It also weighs 2.70 grams. A copper planchet weighs 3.1 grams. It can be 2.9, not usual though, but 3.0 to 3.1, 3.2, you got a mint specification range. But if you have a 1943 copper cent and it sticks to a magnet, it's plated, like I said. But if it weighs 3.1 grams and doesn't stick to a magnet, then you want to take it to a professional. So anyways, this is a 1943D, and they minted 217,660,000 of these. So they're very common. But in 67 and 68, they're worth some money. And we're going to take a look at that, but this is what we want to do. We want a little bit closer look at this coin under the microscope so you can see the surfaces. And we can look at the mint mark and look at the date. And I will say this, that it is very common to see one of the date digits missing on these because they were very hard on the dies. So that's not uncommon to see. I really love this microscope. You can get over on and buy an Elkin off of Amazon. That's what I have here. It's an Elkin microscope. It's 4K and it's autofocus. So we'll put some light on this and we'll take a look at this date really close. As you can see, there's nothing wrong with this date. Might be a little bit of strike doubling, but the steel scents were hard on the dies because they're steel. They're hard, obviously. Sometimes the 4 will be missing on these. And it doesn't really add value to it. I mean, it's kind of cool if you find one. You'll see some strike doubling and things like that. There are some varieties. You look that up and see what the pictures look like of those. But this is the surface of a steel cent. This is what they look like. And as you can see, this is normal. You see the little outline on the hair, and it goes all the way down in front of the forehead and the nose. Sometimes it'll be really deep and around the mouth. That is not a double die. That is a normal strike of these coins. It's a normal feature of these coins. Okay, that's just how they struck. That's how they look. And when they fill the die cavity with the metal, it causes a little bit of issues at times. Later die stages, you'll see that. But like I said, that you can see it when I'm talking about, and when the light's on it, really good. And there's die file lines on it. You can see that as well. You can see it right. Those are just minor anomalies, just things that are not double dies. This is just a normal business strike steel cent that you're looking at here. Look at a little bit more light. So under the lighting, you can see a little more details, contact marks, things like that. It's a nice steel cent. It probably grades 64, 65. It's a nice one. I've got a whole roll of these. I thought about sending them off, but they really need to be 67 to make it worth it. That's the thing. If it's not 67, they're worth over $100 a piece in a PCGS holder. If they don't grade at least that, and that's hard to get 67 on a cent. So with that, let's go over to PCGS price guide. We can take a look at the 1944 steel, how much they're worth, because there are some steel cents. You want to stick them to a magnet, and they need to weigh 2.7 grams. I mean, that's very important to know that. You see how much they're worth. They're worth a lot of money. So it's a 44 steel that's worth the money, not the bronze, not the copper. And there's a 44D, and then there's a 44S. Okay, all these will stick to magnets and all have to weigh a certain weight. Otherwise, you'll have a plated example if it doesn't weigh right or if it doesn't stick to a magnet. Then you have the 43. This is the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. That means it's just from Philadelphia Mint. That is completely normal. No mint mark does not add value to it. And as you can see down there at the mintage, 684,628,670. I mean, they made bukus of these. There's a bunch of these out there. So they're not rare. They're not worth a lot of money, as you can see. People might find them in circulation, and you're talking about maybe $1, if that. And there's not even any prices for the ones that are really not that great a condition. Same thing with the 43D, over 200 million. And also you can see the values on these. A lot of them are out there. They're easy to get. And contrary to what people think, they're not worth a lot unless they're on a copper planchet or a silver planchet or an experimental planchet. Now, very difficult to find that stuff. Now, I know some people who do still find some of the silver planchets. They're out there some. I mean, I don't know when the latest one was found, but I know there was one found a few years ago, and I did a video on it back in 2018. There might have been another one found recently, but not too long ago. But within the last 5 or 6 years, there's been a couple found, I think. But like I said, they're worth a little over $1,000. Most of them are in bad condition. So you got the 43S. It's also almost 200 million on this one here. And as you can see, the values on this. Like I said, best thing is scales and a magnet. Then you got the copper. And when you're looking at the copper, we're going to take a look over here. When you see, and they call it bronze, the 43D is unique. There's only one of them known. So that's it. Only one Denver Mint bronze 43. And then Philadelphia, there's 10 to 15 known. And there's only 5 known of the 43S. So like I said, that's why they're a big target for counterfeits. The counterfeiters like to make these. You see them on Etsy all the time. I've got one in a ICG holder that's labeled a counterfeit. Someone sent to them to put in a holder. As you can see, the other one is 64, it's 43D, and the 43S. As So you can see the values here. You can see the population reports. You can see how much they're worth, how rare they are. They're just not going to be found. I believe that all of the 43 coppers, actual authentic ones, have been found unless somebody found one back in the 50s and put it back and no one's found it yet. That's a possibility because, I mean, there was some found with a cut, I believe, not too long ago in some collection, but it had connections with the mint. I mean, it went right back to the mint. So you can come over to Heritage Auctions and you can take a look at what they've sold for over the last few years. You go all the way back to, I think, 99, 2000. This is what they've sold for kind of recently. Mid-State 67, like I said, it's a little over 114. And that's the thing. Always consult price guides. Don't use these CoinSnap apps, CoinIn apps, and all that. They're going to give you incorrect values. We are getting 20, 30 calls a day from people who are using those apps, or they're walking in the shop, one of the two, where they've used those apps to scan a coin and it told them the wrong values. You got to do yourself a favor and get you a price guide. Look at legit values. Those apps are they're a great idea, but they're not executed properly by the companies that are doing them. They don't know about coins. You can't even contact or even know who the expert, they're not an expert behind them, but there's no experts behind them. So they can do whatever they want just to get you to click on it, just to get you to download it, just to get you to subscribe to it. And they don't practice good business. Their ads lie to you. They show you things that are not true about coins. So there you have it. There's the real values of a 1943 and even a 1944 cent. So like this, a kind of synopsis of this, of the whole thing is 43s are steel and they're very common. If they're copper, they're not. If they're on silver, they're not. 1944 is very common if it's bronze. If it's steel, it's not common. And if it's on an experimental planchet, it's not common. So those are the things you have to think about. Take your notes, write things down, keep a little log of things, write your own little book to help yourself, to educate yourself, because we have a lot of stuff going on right now with those apps and artificial intelligence. There's so much misinformation out there now that it's harder and harder to wade through it. You know, a lot of people thought that counterfeits were going to ruin this hobby. A lot of people think dealers are going to ruin this hobby. A lot of people think the grading companies are going to ruin this hobby. But I will tell you this, misused artificial intelligence information, creating videos and using these apps is what's going to hurt this hobby if it keeps going, because you're never going to know what the truth is unless you listen to reputable people who know what they're doing, who are the experts, and get the books. You see my library back here, get you a Mega Red book, learn the truth about your coins. It's not worth being able to scan a coin, get you a book first. It's got the picture in there. All you can do is match the picture. It's not that hard. So thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.